Good evening and welcome to the July 27th regularly scheduled board meeting. Item 1A calls for a welcome. I've just welcomed you. We also call for an invocation from our very own Pastor Kelly Wolverton of the Hampton Road Baptist Church. After he leads us in a prayer, we will remain standing for our pledges, followed by our district mission statement by Trustee Hooper. Let us stand for a word of prayer.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, as we come before you today, we thank you for our community, and we thank you for a board of educators who truly look towards you for inspiration and guidance. We know that that is something in America today that we take for granted, but God, I want you to know we are so thankful for that in DeSoto. We also thank you for the men and women you have called to work in education. Bless their hearts with your love, your joy, and peace. Season their words with your patience, kindness, and goodness. Fill their minds with your faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. When they respond to a broken-hearted child, show them how to be big-hearted. When they reach out to a rebellious teen, remind them to be obedient to you. When they advise a lonely, mature student, help them to be Christ Jesus to them. When they meet with an angry parent, let them see a child of God. When they give advice to a discouraged colleague, give them the helpful and encouraging words to say. And when they speak to visitors and strangers, grant them the gift of hospitality. God, we also lift up this board as they continue to make important decisions for our students and our community. May you continue to grant them your wisdom and your joy. And God, we thank you for the man that you have called to be our superintendent, to guide us and direct us. May you continue to lead him and direct him. And we are so thankful you have put your heart in his heart. Continue to guide him. And these things we ask in your blessed and holy name. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
DeSoto ISD will prepare each student academically and socially to become a problem solver and productive citizen for a 21st century global society.
Thank you, Trustee Hooper, and thank you, Pastor Wolverton. It's a blessing. Board, we know that for the last few weeks, our regular meetings, we have a member of our local clergy come and pray for us. First, we had Pastor DC3, Pastor Dr. Marcus King, thank you. Dr. Marcus King, and tonight, pastor from Hampton Road. So we're definitely appreciative of our local clergy taking a part in the business of DeSoto ISD. Item 1D calls for our emergency statement. I will read that into your hearing now. DeSoto ISD takes safety of our students seriously. Students, employees, and guests, those including with us tonight. In any emergency situation such as a fire, please exit the building using one of the marked exits unless directed otherwise. Should we experience inclement weather such as a tornado, we will ask all guests to move quickly into the interior of the building away from all doors and windows. Our emergency operations administrator will monitor the situation at all times and advise of any potential situations, as well as coordinate with the local emergency responders regarding when the situation has passed. Thank you. Item 1E calls for us to establish a quorum. We do have a quorum with 6 board members present, which brings us to item 1F, our celebrations. Trustee Daniel.
PTA wins Texas PTA Awards. The DeSoto Council of PTAs was awarded the Gold Award for Outstanding Council PTA at the Texas PTA Lone Star Training Weekend, May 29th through 31st. In addition, they won the Council PTA Membership Increase Award and a new award for 2015, the Council PTA Golden Apple Award, for verifying that the superintendent, cabinet members, and school board members are current members of a local PTA within the council. Congratulations, PTA. Majorettes earn state ratings. Congratulations to the DHS majorettes who competed in the UIL state contest in late May. They competed with a total of 6 routines, each receiving ratings of 1 or 2 and medals. Gold medal superior rating of 1 trio ensemble, Kaylin Sparks, Sabre Washington, Simone Pinnock. Gold medal superior rating of 1 solo, Kaylin Sparks. Silver medal rating of 2 solo, Shiambra Randall. Silver medal rating of 2 solo, Sabre Washington. Silver medal rating of 2 solo, Simone Pinnock. Silver medal rating of 2 solo, Lyric Pride. Are any of those girls here or their parents? Congratulations, majorettes. The director of the majorettes, you here? No. Okay, DeSoto ISD students placed in NAACP National AXO competition. 2 DeSoto High School students and 1 recent graduate, Alexis Berry, Shantae Donegan, Felicia Johnson, competed in the NAACP National AXO, that's Afro Academic, Cultural, Technological, and Scientific Olympics competition in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, July 9th through 13th. This year, AXO had over 650 students compete in 26 categories, including STEM, sciences, humanities, business, and performing and visual arts. AXO is a year-long achievement program designed to recruit, stimulate, and encourage high academic and cultural achievement among African American high school students. Over 300,000 young people have participated in the program since its inception. These students were judged by qualified experts, including celebrities and other distinguished individuals in their respective fields. Additionally, students were able to attend several master classes pertaining to their fields facilitated by these judges. The results are as follows. Recent graduate Shantae Donegan participated in the culinary competition, taking home the silver award for second place. She received a $25,000 scholarship to the Culinary Institute of America, $2,200 scholarship from State Farm Insurance, an iPad 2. Senior Alexis Berry competed in the vocal contemporary, and junior Felicia Johnson competed in the oratory competitions. The NAACP National AXO program has helped young people in communities across the country open new doors to learning and define career paths since its inception 36 years ago. Please help us congratulate these students when you see them for all their hard work and dedication. Are these students here? And their sponsor? He's so festive. He's so festive. Congratulations. 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 Good job. Oops.
Congratulations once again to those students. Item 1G calls for Amber Terrace Elementary video, which will be played at this time.
That's nice. I love school. Oh, try to be the best you can be. Whatever you do, stay in school. Stay in school. You can do it. I know you can do it. When I wake up early in the morning, I say, ooh. I can't wait to get there to see all my friends. The Prince of
Who is it? Man.
Thank you.
What? Who bought this bike?
Can you sit on it? Yes, I can.
How you doing, Mr. Jordan?
Awesome.
I see you got something new there to play with. We'll have to let the seat up a little bit.
Yeah, we will have to do that. This.
That's
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, maybe that'll make you feel a little bit better.
I'm happy.
And it is yours. And it matches your hat.
Yes, it does. It really does.
Miss Hanson, look,
see your head, Jordan.
Jay, Miss Hanson took care of you, dude. She called me and she told me you want a bicycle. She went out and got you a bicycle.
Home has extra padding in it and everything.
Good, let me see how you look at it. Get your picture.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, wow. That's you right there. That's you.
One of my favorite colors, too.
Is it really? That's great.
Anything you need to say?
Picture too. I just
I just want to say thank you to all y'all that have been trying to help me. Pretty much everybody I know. Because that's pretty much everybody I know.
Put your hat on, baby doll.
Why you gonna cover your whole face up?
There you go. Okay, get back on your bike so I can get a picture.
This is
So I can send it to Fireman Bill.
Fireman Bill.
Try move that chair back so I can see. Check it out, dude.
Beat that at home.
Mr. President Sherman, if I might, I just wanted to say, I know that that's an unusual type of video, but that is one of our students who has been diagnosed with cancer, and you will not find a more upbeat young man than that young man on any day, despite whether or not he's had any type of chemo or anything. When you go and have a conversation with that student, he lives every day like to the fullest, and he is one of the most upbeat gentlemen that you ever had an opportunity to come in contact with. And so that is why we chose to highlight him in that way on that day. Thank you all.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And I know visiting the campus, I've had several times to meet him. And it is very much so true that he has a positive word for whatever is going on. So if you just say, give me a word, he'll give you one right there, almost like he's a preacher on demand, right? But just a great kid. And it's great to see that we're taking our job of educating kids seriously, and that we remember and recognize it's not always about the books, and that these kids go through trials and tribulations of their own at no matter what age they're at. So it's good to see that those leaders on that campus are meeting that students' needs in that way. Thank you. Item 1H calls for citizen participation. We do not have any cards that have been filled out today, so we have no need of that. Board, that brings us to item 2, consent items. We have item A. Y'all put it on the agenda. I didn't know that would come. Item 2A calls for mandatory federal price increase to lunch meals eligible for National School Lunch Program. Item 2B is 2015-16 custodial contract with GCA Services. Item C is MOU with Cedar Valley College. And item D is minutes from the previous board meeting.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
can we pull item A, mandatory federal price increase for school lunches for separate consideration?
Very well. Board, you've heard the desire of Trustee Hooper. Is there any objection to that? If not, we'll pull item A for separate consideration. So at this time, we'll consider items B, C, and D under consent.
Mr. President, move to approve as presented.
Second.
I have some already, Miss.
We have a motion on the floor by Trustee Stripling. We have a second by Trustee Hooper. Is there any discussion? I know you said you have some unreadiness, Trustee Moncrief.
Discussion.
On which item in particular?
I'm sorry. The contract, sorry.
GCA contract. Item 2B.
Yeah, yes.
GCA. Dr. Harris.
Yes, sir. Each year we have opportunity to bring a contract with GCA Services. So this is a standard presentation that we do every year. And Mr. Lord, correct me, what year is this with them? It's our third year. So after the third year, then it's up for reconsideration again, or is it after fifth year? So after the fifth year. So we are in our third year of a 5-year contract.
Okay. Are you ready for me to ask my question? Yes. Mr. Laborde, you did address most of my concerns in this afternoon with the questions that I asked. Do you know or happen to have any idea when we will get the new figures on the costs for the extra portable in regards to the addendum for the contracts under options 1 or 2? Either one highlights that the prices do not include facilities, new facilities, additional square footage, portable buildings. You mentioned your response to my question was that I believe that they were addressed per square foot price. Do you know when we
Right.
can have those figures?
I should be able to have those by the next board meeting.
Okay. And when you say by square foot price, is this per the square, is?
Yes, there's a square foot price on
that's
there.
quoted?
$1.072 per square foot.
Okay. Now, will that, when you actually get those numbers, will they become another addendum? Or if I'm voting
No, ma'am.
tonight, is that, I'm accepting that price?
Yes, ma'am, the
As
dollar
is?
the 1.072.
Okay. So kind of right now, though, I'm kind of voting in the dark as to what that new price is going to be. While I know what the square footage per price is, I still don't know the price for the portables. I don't know the square footage of the portables. So if we have 10 portables come in and we don't know the square footage of each portable, I'm just trying to get a working number.
I just didn't bring that information with me. I apologize.
Okay. Is there a specific time frame by which we need to have this contract signed?
Yes, ma'am, by August 1st.
Okay. And when's our next school? Yep. Does anyone have information regarding those portables anywhere that we can have before the next meeting? Yes.
Yes, I can get that information before the next meeting.
Okay.
Correct, board, we will have already voted, but help me understand, administration. We are approving the rate based on the 5-year agreement that we have. So we're going to have to add portables regardless. So that price is,
We're basically approving the rate. The dollar amount is just because it goes over the $50,000, but we're actually basically approving the dollar 1.072, which is the same rate as we had last year.
okay.
And the other option would be that if we do go with option 2, which I've recommended, that we will add the 4.5 additional FTEs to do full cleaning at the middle schools and not the skip cleaning anymore. That would be the main difference.
Where will, I guess what I'm trying to understand is, since we're kind of like voting in a vacuum, and we're saying that this price is going to be this price in the contract here, subject to whatever this other figure is. I just want to make sure that we're going to have the funds somewhere.
Yes, ma'am, we'll have the funds.
Where are we
available.
getting the funds from, or where does that come from?
The funds they're budgeted, and they were in the board-approved budget.
Okay. And is that just, I'm sorry, help me out here, I'm not trying to belabor the point. Is that just funds that we have set aside for or cleaning services?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Mr. Laborde, it might be helpful when you provide the rest of the information to Ms. Moncrief, is that you kind of backfill her on kind of the history of this, because we've had these discussions annually, and so it'd probably be helpful for her that you kind of backfill her. That way, like she said, she's not really voting in a vacuum. That way she kind of understands, because it's only helpful. I mean, we're a body of one, so if we have one that doesn't know, then it doesn't help us all. So.
Board, any further comments, discussion? We're voting on the recommendation. So, and then they've made their recommendation. Just for clarity, Board, as you see it in your agenda, there are several options. However, if you look under it, you'll see the recommendation that administration is making, which is option 2. So when you vote, you're voting on that recommendation, which is outlined by administration.
Can I read the option into record?
Yes, sir.
Mr. President. So the recommendation is approve extending the 2014-15 custodial contract option 2 with changes with GCA Service Group in the amount of 1.8 and 12,084.96. That is a recommendation.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. There's no further discussion, Board. You should know that Dr. Harris and I spoke over the weekend regarding ensuring moving forward as we look at this contract that anyone we contract with has a livable wage. And that's something that we know is being pushed by the county to ensure that those people that are on our campuses are being compensated in a way that's fair and equitable. And so we will be looking at that moving forward as well. So there's no further discussion.
I would just say that then that being the case, and I don't disagree with you, one of the things that I've harped on every year is that we always take a look at our costs compared to doing it in-house versus contracting out. So if we're going to look at it from that pricing standpoint, then I would expect to have another comparative evaluation done to look at doing it in-house versus doing it through contract services. So that way we always keep the board up to date on where we are with costs at all times.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. Thank you, Trustee Strickland.
Do you have it? Go ahead.
Dr. Lamonia.
I have a document for the square footage for the district buildings, and the portables are about 3,072. Those are the ones that we currently have, and we're going with something very close to that, so it should be very much over that.
Is that total?
3,072 2 per, the document that I have is a document per campus, and it lists out the square footage of the entire campus, and where there is a portable on a campus, it has the portable outline there as well with that figure by it, 3,072 square feet on each portable that we currently have in the district. And those new ones are here as well. But these are the ones that we had as of the 2014-15 school year before the new ones arrived on the campus. But they're pretty much consistent with what we've had. So we shouldn't be that far off from that.
That'd be $32,000.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Lemonnier. All right, so board, we have a motion to approve and a second. Entertain the desires of the board. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries 6-0. Brings us to item A under consent, mandatory federal price increase to lunch meals eligible for National School Lunch Program. Dr. Harris. Before you do that, board, at this time, before we go into discussion, is there a motion?
We're on A, right?
Yes, sir.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Trustee Stripling, second by Trustee Hall. Dr. Harris.
Yes, sir. As you know, each year, like everything else, meal prices continue to go up, and so with that increase that's pushed on to the district, there's also a request that we also then move that on to our consumers, and the recommendation is to approve proposed lunch price of $2.55 for elementary and $2.75 for secondary to meet federal regulations. Now, I did check for board for your consideration to see what other options that we might have. Because according to regulations, if we do not change the meal prices, then we're not meeting federal guidelines. Now, there are some options to consider, and, you know, we came very close, I think, last year where they have something that's called, one second, sorry here, Provision 2. And Provision 2 calls that if there is a change, if we do qualify as a district, and I think it's like 75% of our students who would meet free and reduced lunch, then we wouldn't have to absorb this price. Well, we're slightly off because our free and reduced lunch dropped this year, which in some ways that's good. But so unless we approve this, according to the information that I received, that we would not be meeting the federal regulation guidelines, meaning also even if we picked up the price, and correct me if in case I got wrong information, we are still not adjusting as the guidelines instruct us to do so.
Right. Eventually, within the next 6 years, we will have to continue to receive the federal free and reduced lunch money. We will have to get to the $2. Presently, it's $2.74 is what we get for free and reduced lunch, or for free lunch. So we have basically they gave us 9 years starting 5 years ago, to bring your lunch price up to meet exactly what they've given you in federal dollars. So what we've been doing is incrementally, they say you have 9 years to meet that and to catch up with it. So we've been incrementally raising the price each year 10 to 15 cents to try to keep up with that, growth, to get closer and closer. So basically what happens is that if you don't do it this year, then you have to make it up at some point within the next 4 years. You're still going to have to make up that difference. But they will allow you to, if you want to skip a year, to pay it out of your general fund. You can pay the difference out of your general fund.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. Mr. LeBoard. Any discussion, board? All right, so we have a motion to approve and a second. Take a vote at this time. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Aye. So that motion carries 4-2. That brings us to our report items. Item 3 calls for A. Item A is the tax ratification election video. Dr. Harris.
Yes, sir, Mr. President and Board, we would like to present to you tonight and hopefully to those who may be viewing out as community members. As you know, we voted upon and approved the process of doing a TRE or a tax swap, as some would like to call it. We would like to present this video just as if you were going out presenting it to someone in the community. And certainly, if you had any question after the video, then we would do that. Okay, so video.
Hello from DeSoto ISD. This video is to help our community understand the DeSoto ISD tax ratification election. The DeSoto ISD Board of Trustees have called a tax ratification election for TRE for Saturday, September 5th. We will be asking the voters to approve a tax exchange that will bring an additional $4.6 million to the district each year without raising taxes. The passage of the TRE, coupled with a board resolution, will move 13 cents from the interest and sinking fund to the maintenance and operations fund. This swap would generate an additional $4.6 million per year for DeSoto ISD student instruction, with an actual decrease in taxes of 1 cent. As a reminder, homeowners age 65 and over who have filed the 65 and over exemption are frozen, and their tax rate can never increase. However, they will benefit from the 1 cent decrease. What is TRE? A state formula allows a tax swap between the district's M&O and INS budgets with voter approval. They reward those communities with a higher rate of return. The M&O is for everyday operations, including salaries, materials, and maintenance. The INS is for bonded debt for facilities and land, like mortgages. Our current M&O rate is $1.04, and our INS rate is 43 cents, for a total rate of $1.47. This restructured tax rate does not mean increased taxes. In fact, for the DeSoto ISD voters, it will mean a 1 cent decrease. A board resolution that has already passed will roll back the tax rate and reduce the INS to 29 cents. An average DeSoto home valued at $122,000 will save almost $11 a year, while DeSoto ISD gains $4.6 million to educate students. How does this work? DeSoto ISD receives money from the state for each student. However, other ISDs receive more for each student based on weighted average daily attendance. DeSoto ISD is the third lowest in Dallas County. The formula allows us to receive a portion of our tax rate with voter approval at the Austin and Dallas rates. DeSoto ISD is called the tax ratification election to ask the community to consider a change in how we collect taxes to maximize our state funding. The proposed change would bring the district an additional $4.6 million in funding each year without increasing taxes. The TRE will actually lower the INS by 14 cents and increase the M&O by only 13 cents, saving the taxpayers a penny per $100 valuation. If the TRE fails, the tax rate will remain $1.47, but the district will not benefit from the additional $4.6 million in state funding. The TRE is a tool to allow the district to maximize the amount of money we receive from the state. Funds will be used to support the implementation of innovative programs, support daily operations of expanded facilities, offset the rising cost of health care for employees, and replace a portion of lost funding per student to school budgets. DeSoto ISD and the Board of Trustees have called for the tax ratification election, but voters must decide the outcome of the election. Election Day is on Saturday, September 5th, 2015, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., with locations based on voter precincts. Early voting begins on Wednesday, August 19th through August 28th, from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., and August 31st and September 1st from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Beltline Conference Center behind the Administration Building. Mobile voting sites are held throughout the district during early voting. See details online. Thank you for supporting DeSoto ISD as we strive to fulfill our mission of preparing each student academically and socially to be a problem solver and productive citizen for a 21st century global society. For additional information, please visit the DeSoto ISD website at www.desotoisd.org.
That's it.
All right, thank you, Dr. Harris. Administration. Item 3B calls for May financials, 3C June tax collections, and D June financials. We'll take all those together. Dr. Harris.
Yes, sir, Mr. Update the board on those.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. Since we're already in June, I don't think there's a lot to discuss about the May financials. Most of that was pre-budget amendment that was approved by the board. So we'll go to the June tax collections, which is on page 89.
92.
As you can see, we have collected 100% of our budgeted tax collections this year, 101% last year. Our current levy is 97.93. We'd planned our budget around 98. However, remember that the county will go ahead and collect the taxes, the current year taxes, all the way up through September, and so our year ends in June. But however, that's very close to the 98% that we predicted as far as our current year tax collection. So that's good news. If you have any questions about that, I'll be glad to answer those at this time.
Thank you, Mr. LeBoard. Board, you've had this information. Is there any questions or discussions surrounding it? All right. If not, that brings us to our third, under our report items, item E, employments, resignations, retirements, professional personnel. Dr. Harris.
Yeah, thank you, Board. And I would say that everybody's been working very hard on this, so I'm going to turn it over to the people that's been doing most of the work, and that's the HR department, Dr. Grover, if he would add anything to that. It is a report item, standard report.
Absolutely. Dr. Harris, thank you, and Board President and rest of our Board of Trustees. This is a standard report, although we do realize that this is our busiest time of the year, and we are hiring every day. And here's the report here that we have in terms of the new hires, and you can see that we have a variety of positions across grade levels as well as administration. In regards to the resignations, just taking a look at the resignations, we can see that many of our teachers resign at this time of the year to take positions that were closer to their home, as well as we do have a few individuals that took a new opportunity or promotion, and one retiree that I'd like to highlight, Ms. Witt from Ruby Young Elementary. As far as our current vacants, trying to keep you all up to speed for day to day, you did receive a report last week with a breakdown in terms of our current vacancies and where we stand on recommendations and positions that we still have to fill. So overall, we are just a little under 50 positions in terms of recommendations for classroom teaching positions.
Thank you, Dr. Grover. Board, this standard report, but we'll have any discussion, questions?
Yes, Mr. President, Dr. Grover, the instructional dean, can you help me to understand, one, what is the scope and responsibility of that individual, as well as what pay grade that individual in our new pay structure will be on? And then that might trigger a follow-up question about posting.
Okay, absolutely. I do not have that in front of me in terms of the exact pay grade. I'll be happy to provide you with that, as well as a job description. And however, that person will focus strictly on instruction, data and accountability as well. So it'll be instructional dean.
I look forward to that information as
Yes, sir.
expeditiously as possible.
Absolutely.
I had a question. How is that different from the instructional coordinator?
Thank you. The instructional dean will vary from the instructional coordinator in a sense that they will have the privy to evaluate teachers. They will focus strictly on data. So basically, they will serve pretty much as the role of what we would consider an assistant principal, but strictly instruction.
Okay, so are they focusing on instruction or on data? Which one?
Both.
So they're evaluating
Yes.
teachers?
Yes, ma'am. They will have the ability to be able to appraise teachers.
Mr. President, now that triggers my follow-up question.
Hold on, Trustee Hooper. Did you?
I'm going to wait for him to finish.
Okay, all right.
So, my follow-up question, because now that individual seems to be on the level of assistant principal, as you've just described, which I think is vastly different from an instructional coordinator.
It is.
I'm concerned on if there was proper posting of this capacity in terms of meeting our requirement in that regard.
I can take that. So, we had an opportunity to find a exceptional, talented individual that we believe that can certainly make a huge difference to our educational landscape. And so we did decide we did not want to lose this individual. She was highly sought after. So there was a decision that was made, knowing that we had a instructional coordinator position that was available to restructure that position. So we didn't want to lose it. So, it's here or there that if you say, should we have posted that position, there is a good possibility that we probably should have posted that position, but we certainly did not want to lose that individual. So we just restructured that instructional coordinator position.
So are you saying then that the instructional coordinator position that was available before no longer exists, and we have switched it out for the instructional dean
That's correct.
position?
That's correct.
Is this a new model that we're going to, as far as high school, we're going to be using instructional deans instead of instructional coaches? Because I think sometimes the coaches actually need a coach.
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Do we have a position in our district where we have, piggybacking on my statement, what I was saying sometimes about the coaches need a coach, is there like a centralized person? I know, like, for example, like in DISD, they have these coaches that go and work with these instructional coordinators or this instructional dean then to help them dig deeper or pare down more into subject areas. Do we have anything like that
Yes.
in our district?
So we have instructional supervisors, so the layers work, and then we have instructional coordinators. So our instructional supervisors work very closely with our instructional coordinators, right? So all these instructional. So there is a layer effect to it because generally those instructional coordinators are hands-on, so they're not always able to go out and collect and do all things. So those supervisors are responsible for making sure that those coordinators are on point.
Okay.
And then they work closely with the teachers.
Mr. President, to the superintendent, just to provide some more clarity. So the instructional supervisors, there's one for individual content.
That's correct.
Whereas the coordinators have to work across all of the four major content areas.
That's correct.
Okay.
So,
Thank you, Trustee Hooper. Trustee Daniel.
I'm worried that this might be against board policy. Do we not have a policy that says we have to put positions on the website? We have to put them out there for whoever wants to apply for this job to apply? And at this late date, if we lose a good person, we lose a good person. But we haven't been hiring all spring, and we haven't put positions out there. We've lost 105 teachers since April. Are we going to have teachers in every building? We have plenty of administrators in the high school. We can't even list the ones on the chain of command for the magnet school and the early collegiate high school, the early college high school. Why do we need another person? But if we do, why didn't we post it?
If you go back and look at your policy also, that it does give the superintendent some liberty If we see that there is a position or a person, or not a position, but an individual that we need to hire, then we can do that.
But this surely is not the only person qualified for this position. We need to post our positions.
I totally understand that.
Just for clarification, and I see some lights on, so I see you guys want to chime in. Just for clarification, position was posted. This individual applied for the position,
No.
and we decided, or administration decided, that instead of being an instructional coordinator, it will fall under this dean of instruction. Correct?
That is correct.
Very well. So just so that we're clear, which person interviews, you say, I think they're a good fit for this position. I give you the offer. In second thought, we say, hey, you'd be a good fit for this position.
So,
And that position was birthed out of it. Trustee Hooper.
so to further that point, I think that therein lies where the violation of board policy is, because they were hired for one position, and then in essence they were given a promotion, and that's what this is. And it was a promotion that was never posted, and so it was unfair because no one else had the opportunity to compete. And so, to your point, therein lies the violation of policy, because it was almost like an exclusive for one individual where no one else had the opportunity, whether external or internal, to even audition for the position. And so, yes, they were hired into the district as an instructional coordinator. Regardless of the fact that we decided to restructure this, that, and the other, if it was restructured and it would have been a lateral, that would have been fine, because the superintendent does have the ability and the power to retitle and all of this other stuff and all of that. However, in terms of promotions, those have to be posted. Those have to be posted, period. I mean, people have to have an opportunity to compete. Those jobs have to be. I mean, if it was a lateral, then that's fine. No pay change, this, that, and the other. But per my understanding, especially if they're going to have the same responsibilities pretty much as an AP, but deal specifically with instruction, there are 3 different pay grades in between those individuals. So.
Thank you, Trustee Hooper. Trustee Strickland.
Well, I was just going to Mr. Hooper's point, where are the differences? I think that's the main question. Where are the differences in the position that this individual was hired for versus the position they've been given? What's the difference in pay? What's the difference in responsibility? Because that's the only way. A promotion in title means absolutely nothing to me. So a promotion in financial gain, a promotion in responsibility constitutes a true promotion. So what's the difference?
Let me see if I can't share some light on that. We do have instructional coordinators, and I think Trustee Moncrief, and I want to say Board President and all the other trustees, we have instructional coordinators on campus, and I believe Trustee Hooper explained very well that they focus on instruction across the board on every campus. We looked at data. Dr. Harris did explain that this was an individual who came in, and we are always talking about doing what is best for students. And this was an individual who just came in through a transfer or what have you, whereas they have a track record of actually turning schools around. The individual was also bilingual, which was an asset for the school as well. And although we have assistant principals, and assistant principals are assigned to work on campuses with instruction as well, but that's instruction, that's discipline,
that's lunch duty, that's all of the above. Dr. Grover mentioned the fact that we have instructional coordinators who are going in coaching for the most part, teachers, but someone at that particular level who could do a formal appraisal. The teachers that go in and coach, someone who can make sure that the coaching is going at a different level. So not only that, I believe Trustee Moncrief, you talked about those instructional coordinators receiving training, and they do receive training. Dr. Harris alluded to the fact that they receive training from our supervisors who specialize in a content area. But we consider the size of the high school, and those individuals actually come to training once a month. They can actually call on a supervisor in a particular area to come, but also we want to keep in mind that when they call on the supervisor serves all campuses. And so based upon the size of the campus, based upon the need, based upon the data, based upon the fact with the growing population in terms of bilingual and the sub-pop that we have, that's a subpopulation, when we looked at the students who are not making the standards or what have you, it was actually a gym that just happened upon that any district was going to actually take her at that particular point. And so with that being said, this individual will have a person who can coach those instructional coordinators every single day as they go on. They're going to come on to the training, but you have someone at this particular campus, the campus with the greatest need, with the greatest number of students, who can do this on a day-to-day basis like this. And with the ultimate goal is that we're trying to become that world-class school district. So that's the sole purpose, like this, trying to address the needs of our students, the needs of the campus, and the needs of the district.
I know we can't get into the specifics of contracts and things like that out in the public as far as pay and things like that. So what I would say is that Dr. Harris, make sure that information gets to the board so we can see, because I mean, that's the only way we're going to put this to bed. So just get it to us, let us take a look at it, and we'll go from there. I know we can't discuss that out in front of everybody, so I think that's the best way to go. Thank you.
Okay, and this kind of veers away a little bit differently. Going back to, I'm looking right at you, and I can never remember your name. HR, head of HR. I know you sent the report out last week, and based on the report this week with all the hirings that we have, I think I recollect somewhere about us having maybe 20-something teaching positions open. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Or has the number diminished?
In terms of the report that went out last week?
Yes.
Okay. So the teacher vacancies that we had last week, we have as of the 22nd. You know, we're just getting back in here today to try to update it. But we had 48 vacancies that were classroom teachers.
Okay.
23 of those were elementary. That's probably where your focus was.
Okay, maybe that's what I was thinking about. Are we still at 48 classroom positions?
We should be a little less. I just haven't had an opportunity to kind of compare it to cross-reference. What happens is that we leave the individuals on our list for our record until they actually come in and sign. So I need to cross-reference, and we will be providing you all with an updated report this week, the same as we did last week.
Okay. Well, I'll say this because I know that that's something that my fellow trustee is also very concerned about. I don't know what more urgency we could operate with to figure out how we're going to get teachers in classrooms by August 24th. I know, for speaking as a parent, it will be awfully disappointing for me to walk into a school building August 24th and my child has a sub. I don't like the idea of the long-term subs. I like the idea of there being a teacher ready to go. We demand that these kids come with supplies. We demand that they come ready to go. And so I want staff to be there for them, somebody to teach them, ready to go. It is frustrating as a parent to walk in there and be kind of like in limbo. And maybe I'm too over-involved as a parent, I don't know. But I know that We've gone over some of the avenues. We've got our website. We're doing social media. I don't know if we're tweeting these jobs. I don't know what else we're doing in order to find some teachers. But I'm really concerned about that. I'm really concerned about that because first and foremost, I want the kids to have somebody they can immediately identify with and say, yeah, this is my teacher, and get settled and not be worried about that part. I want the parents to not have the angst of trying to figure out, well, who's my teacher? My kid's teacher is going to be who do I need to talk to? And so, you know, we kind of just need to be on that with all deliberate speed. Okay? That's just my piece on that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Trustee Moncrief. Trustee Hall.
Just some comments. It seems to me like, and I'm just going to blurt it out, it seems like we keep putting more layers and layers of management, and where our emphasis maybe should be more on teachers and that sort of thing. The instructional dean seems to me like, just listen to the conversation, they're more of an assistant principal. We have a lot of those, and it may have been a really wonderful person that you found. But I would really like to find 2 or 3 really, really good English teachers or math teachers and be a little more excited about that. It just seems like we're adding a lot of management and leaving some of the areas that we really need short.
Thank you, Trustee Hall. Board, this is definitely, administration knows this is something that's near and dear to our hearts because, you know, for many of us, we have children in the district, and if it's not a child, it's a nephew, or nephews rather. So it's something that's very important to us, and just, you know, it can be easy to become discouraged as time progresses, we get closer to the year, but I would remind us that this is normal. This is normal for us. And one of the things I want to highlight, and I say it's normal for us in the sense that it's normal to have these vacancies at this point, but it is also normal for us to have those positions filled by the time school starts. So I can assure you that administration does everything they can, because in the time that I've sat on the board, we have had teachers in classrooms. And so I don't want us to become too nervous, but I do want to highlight something that's in our report. It's something that's a testament to the teacher match program that we have. And I've spoken with some of you because you've called and we've discussed it. We are getting qualified teachers that meet what we need in DeSoto. And that's something that prior to this year we did not have. So when I look at the employments here, and I see that 32 out of the 40 people have experience in other districts, that's something we couldn't say last year. But we can say this year with all assurity that administration is getting the individuals they need in the classroom for our students to be successful and learn. So, so we look forward to that report. I think that's what you're hearing from us. We look forward to that report coming up this week with great anticipation. And so we know that you guys are working hard. And so just make sure that you stay on top of that and get us that information as it comes so that we can ease our minds, right? And we can sleep better at night. Trustee Stripling, did you have something to add really quick?
Yes,
Okay.
sir, and it's just a last little piece. I actually wanted to piggyback off of what you said because I was going to mention the same thing. But I will say this. Now, this board, we voted to increase pay, right? And we brought the pay up to try to be extremely competitive with our surrounding districts. But I'll say this. If we're still finding it that after bringing up pay, that it's still difficult to find English teachers and it's still difficult to find math teachers, then we need to be looking at something else, because one of the things that I said a long time ago is it's not always about pay. And if I can get a job here paying exactly what I make in Dallas, but I'd rather go to Dallas, but I live here, then maybe we need to be asking some more questions. What else is it? And so I think that's important. So I just wanted to put that out there that, you know, we everybody celebrated and we cheered about increasing pay. But I said it then and I'll say it again. It's not always about dollars and cents. It's a big factor, but that's not always the reason. So thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Stripling. Item 4 calls for discussion. That discussion is going to be around Senate Bill 507, special ed cameras. Dr. Harris.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and pull that. We'll have that at another discussion.
All right. Board administration is asked to pull that item to consider it or discuss at a later date. Item 5 calls for executive session. We do have need for executive session tonight, and so we'll move into executive session under 5510821, 551.074, and 551.071. There's no objection. Board will move into executive session at 7:30. Thank you. Six, and the board is coming back from executive session. We have been under executive session 551.02 or 0821, 551.074, as well as 551.071. And so now that we've reconvened, I'll entertain a motion if there be any from the board.
Mr. President, I move that we remand the Level 3 grievance complaint back to Level 2 to complete the district's investigation, that we schedule a new meeting with the parent who filed this grievance, and I further move that the district puts forth further procedures in place over the handling of student funds, including student activity funds.
Second.
All right, board, we have a motion by Trustee Moncrief and a second by Trustee Hooper. What's the pleasure of the board? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. Board, that brings us to item 6, which is comments from the board. I know it is the summertime, so there's, few activities going on, but nonetheless, we'll start to my right, Trustee Hall.
Well, since there's not been much school activity, I can tell you I've seen a lot of kids out enjoying the summer. A lot of them riding their bicycles, a lot of them swimming, and they seem to be having a great time. And I hope that they realize that school's coming back up here real soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Hall. Trustee Hooper.
Thank you. I had the awesome opportunity to see some of the students that you saw earlier to perform in their competitions at the NAACP AXO competition. And I just have to say, we have some great talent here in DeSoto. I got a chance to see Felicia, and it was probably one of the most moving oratory pieces that I've heard. Unfortunately, she didn't place, but she was phenomenal. I also got a chance to see the culinary arts competition, and it was first class. Shantae did a phenomenal job when the judges and all of the professional chefs were kind of grilling them as they were actually cooking their. They did an appetizer and an entree, and it was almost like, not as fiery, Master Chef. And, she performed well under pressure. And, at the award ceremony, we were just so excited. And, when she was able to win, and as a result, she got a $25,000 scholarship to the Culinary Institute of America, as well as the $2,200 in a cash check kind of situation, in addition to an iPad. But they got an opportunity to compete against kids from all over the country. And so, as well as interact with, both celebrity individuals within those individual industries. And I just want to thank Ms. Thomas, Ms. Cannon, as well as Ms. Hubbard, who were phenomenal in terms of the mentorship that they provided to our students. So we have some wonderful teachers who are making great investments in our students, and we have some wonderful students doing some phenomenal things. And I know that Alexis as well as Felicia are looking forward to participating next year. So,
Thank you, Trustee Hooper. Trustee Moncrief.
I just want to take the time to say that I enrolled my daughters for the second summer in the summer brain gain camp and the GT camp. They thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was very well run. This is their second year going, as I said, and I hope this is something that continues. The other parents that I talked to really said their kids really enjoyed the program as well. The only complaints we all had as parents was, could we get the posted information just a little bit earlier so that we haven't, for some people, they try to, by the time spring break hits, I know a lot of parents try to figure out what are their kids going to be doing for the summer. So you run into competition from the other camps if you don't have information out by April, early May. But other than that, we thought it was a great camp, and my girls are looking forward to doing it again next year. The other thing is, I don't know if anybody has ever gone down to Mosley Pool recently, but a lot of our students teach swimming lessons there, and my girls are doing swimming lessons there. And even myself, I'm perfected my swimming skills. And I'm actually learning from one of our seniors. She's not a senior, one of our young ladies in high school. And I have to say that it's really impressive watching our students working with the younger kids. They do a great job. And I think it's so important for young people to work with children younger than themselves, because it just really gives them great experience and just sets them up for being able to teach and being able to pass on their knowledge and just instill a lot of confidence in them. So I'm really grateful to the city to afford our young people that opportunity, and as well as whoever coaches the swimming over there at the high school is doing a fabulous job. As far as the HR, I had somebody contact me regarding the new, is it the new system that we have where we match the teacher match. I had somebody contact me just anonymously said, hey, you guys have a great system. That teacher match is the bomb. I just want to let you know. I don't know where y'all got that from, but keep that program going. So kudos to Dr. Grover on that.
Trustee Dane. Thank you, Trustee Moncrief.
Okay, I have one very short thing to say. I've seen several of my former students, the ones that I had as sophomores, in Walmart, and they are all buying their supplies to go to college, and they're all very, very excited. And they all hugged me.
Thank you, Trustee Daniel. Dr. Harris? All right. All right, board. Well, we definitely have some recess until our next meeting, August 10th, so definitely look forward to that. It is now 9:13. If there's no further discussion, I'll call the meeting adjourned.